The Sportsplex at Matthews here in the Charlotte area, North Carolina, currently fighting a little bit of impending weather as these two Eastern Conference sides will be duking it out with each other for 3 points and perhaps a spot in the 2018 USL Cup postseason. Tyler Terrence, along with none other than former English pro Sam Stockley, and we have a very interesting matchup on our hands here tonight. Two teams who were in the postseason a year ago, trying to make sure that their postseason hopes will remain alive in this new campaign here in 2018. And for the Bethlehem Steel, Sam, well, they've just flat out been scoring goals and keeping the other team off the score sheet.
100%. Once they get one goal, 2 or 3 come straight away and they find a rhythm and they could be on top of you before you know it.
Well, this Bethlehem Steel side, 7 goals for, just 1 against in their last 2 matchups. It was a 4-1 win against Atlanta United 2, and then it was a 3-0 drubbing of the Richmond Kickers, a side that sometimes has given this Bethlehem Steel club a little bit of trouble. And on the other side, for the Charlotte Independents, trouble has sort of been their middle name as of late. Whenever they've taken the lead, they've scored in the first 7 out of their 9 home games, Sam, but as of late, they've been squandering that lead late in the game.
And all you hear the manager talk about is consistency of the back four. You know, he just can't find a rhythm, and he feels like maybe this game is the way that he can start really putting together performance for his back four unit.
Well, it was that strike against the Tampa Bay Rowdies coming from Dom O'Durl that found its way on SportsCenter Top 10 and only allowed Charlotte to garner a point from that matchup. The Charlotte Independents currently sitting below the cutoff line, as are the Bethlehem Steel. Both sides looking to make a late season push for the playoffs. It's the Bethlehem Steel and the Charlotte Independents when we come back.
My card.
Misplace your debit card? Turn it off with your app.
Excuse me, my card,
This one's gotta be yours, right?
Yes.
And turn it on when you find it.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
Almost set for kickoff here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. These two sides met a little over a month ago, and quite honestly, the Charlotte Independents owe Brendan Burke and the Bethlehem Steel one, as it was James Chambers and company coming away with a 4-1 win, and what Mike Jeffries described as just quite simply not a good day for the Charlotte Independents. Tyler Terrence along with Sam Stockley, and we'll take a look at how these two teams have been faring as of late. Sam, for Bethlehem, 2 great results, 7 goals for, just 1 against. On the other side for the Charlotte Independents, ever since that win against Nashville, things haven't been going quite so well.
Exactly that. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Charlotte Independent back four deal with the counter-attack and the pace and the speed of Bethlehem Steel. They come at you, and if they score Bethlehem Steel, they can get 2 or 3 goals within 3-4 minutes. They come quick and they come fast.
Well, Bethlehem has certainly turned Goodman Stadium into a fortress of sorts back in the Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania, but as far as away from Bethlehem, they haven't been faring as well as you saw in that graphic, and we'll start with Bethlehem Steel, and the starting lineups brought to you by Novan Health. This is how Brendan Burke's side is going to line up. James Chambers, the captain and the heartbeat of this Bethlehem club, will be in the middle of the park, paired up with Juice Gundrich, who does a lot of the dirty work in the middle of the park. But Sam, we have our eyes up top on Faris from Cameroon. Youngster has a lot of talent, a lot of raw talent. Only 6 appearances so far, including today, but 2 goals as well as an assist.
100%. And this centre forward, he can spin into the channel, and he can spin in with pace, and he'll look to get in behind, and he can score goals.
And on the other side for Charlotte Independence, Jorge Herrera will be up top. Jan Ekra, Jake Arman, and Alex Martinez sliding in behind him. And then Kai Foster, who has a boatload of European experience, with Kavan George in the middle of the park. But again, Sam, we talked about it. Charlotte's backline, how are they going to fare against Bethlehem?
It's going to be a difficult evening for them, and they're going to have to really concentrate and try and work as a unit. And the two holding midfielders in front of them have a big job tonight, stopping that ball into the forwards' feet.
Well, it'll be Sam Vines and Joel Johnson getting the start of the outside back positions for Mike Jeffries and the Charlotte Independents. And as you saw, Javon Watson and Bilal Duckett are the center back pairing. And this is a Charlotte side that has dealt with a bevy of injuries. But as Mike Jeffries has told us time and time again, he is not a side, he is not a coach who makes excuses. And they're looking to find 3 points here at home as we are officially underway from the Sportsplex at Matthews. Tyler Terrens, along with former English pro Sam Stockley, glad to have you with us for a little midweek madness in the United Soccer League as we are knocking on the door of the postseason. Already August 8th. How on earth did that happen?
It's flying through.
Unbelievable.
What a season it's been so far. This is a game that really interests me, you know, Tyler, the way that the two teams, you've got Charlotte Independent, who are very good, you know, known for build-up. They'll possess the ball, they'll find gaps and spaces, and you have a Bethlehem Steel team that have physical pace, obviously technically good as well, and they come at a completely different angle. So it's going to be an interesting game, see how these, you know, teams tactically pan out.
Just to take a look quickly at what exactly this all means as far as the Eastern Conference standings are concerned. Bethlehem right now currently sitting in 9th place as Dykstra sends it away. Charlotte Independence in 10th. Charlotte on 28 points, Bethlehem on 30. And they're both trying to catch the likes of Nashville, Ottawa, and Indy 11. You can even throw New York Red Bulls 2 into that mix, who are only sitting on 35 points. Just goes to show how jumbled it really is in the Eastern Conference table, basically from 5th place all the way down to 13th, with Penn FC sitting on 26 points. So even though we have gotten rid of the majority of the season so far in 2018, there's still a lot to be sorted out in the next month and a half. And really all these teams can do is take it game by game and forget about the trends that they've seen earlier in the season and try to get as many points as possible.
You know, this is when it counts. This part of the season is when it counts. Everything else gets you into this position to be able to have a push. Now it's all about a team that can score goals, that can find a rhythm, that can win some games, take some points away from home, and then obviously have a good home record. But it's about these next games coming in.
This is how Mike Jeffries' side loves to play. Slow and steady in the build-up. Alex Martinez finding Foster. Jan Ekra. Cote d'Ivoire native trying to get around the defender, who is James Chambers, and our head referee, Amin Hatzic, gets his first involvement of the night, and a free kick coming up for Charlotte. We're coming off of that 1-1 draw against Penn FC. Aaron Dennis with the equalizer late in that affair.
I think we lost comms.
Chambers does that so well. You know, for an older veteran, he's so good at his timing and how the way that he can come in. And I even felt that was a good challenge. You know, I know he came in from behind, but he came out with a ball and it was clean. You can normally tell by the player's reaction if they think it's a bad challenge.
Well, you're a former defender yourself. There's not much that you don't think is a clean challenge.
That's very true. That's very true. That was timid for Chambers.
Yeah.
You know, we spoke about it at the beginning of the game with Bethlehem Steel and the way that they're athletic, but take nothing away from them as well. You know, this is a great young side, and so interesting when we heard Mike Jeffries speak about it at the beginning in the week, and he said it's so difficult to play against because you don't quite know who the personnel's coming in, but they all have a role, they all have a system, and if they take a player out, it's normally kind of a like-for-like player coming in. It was interesting how he broke it down and what he felt would pan out for his team tonight.
Interchangeable seemed to be the buzzword that Mike Jeffries was using when describing Brendan Burke's side. And, well, we were talking a little bit about age and some older coaches and younger coaches in the USL, and Mike Jeffries threw himself into the mix of the younger coaches with the likes of Brendan Burke, which is obviously funny to hear, but he has an enormous amount of respect for Brendan Burke, who's just in his mid-30s and has done an excellent job with this Steel club.
Such a difficult job as well, you know, being in that position where players are coming and going, and to be able to unite a group and get them all playing on the same page and all hungry and moving, and especially with all the moving parts of ex-pros and pros coming down, or not ex-pros, should I say, first teamers coming down, or kids trying to go up. It's a hard job, and he does it so well.
Charlotte Independence continue to knock on the door a little bit as far as possession is concerned, but this is what we've seen from the Charlotte side as of late. There's a lot of possession, but whether it's purposeful possession or not remains to be seen. Bizo trying to latch onto that one, but it runs out of play. Bethlehem sporting their all white kits with the collar. Now, Sam, I've had a conversation with a couple of different analysts. How do you feel about the collar on a football jersey?
I think it looks nice, but practically, I don't like.
Here's Ferris on the other end. Dykstra with a big save. Back out in front, and the shot sent over the bar. Well, as we're talking about fashion, Farish trying to find his way into the score sheet. And it was a nice little ball slipped through, but Dykstra up to the task.
And it wasn't a fashionable finish. You know, he gets clean through here. What a wonderful ball. Look at it, and all he can do, he can take it around him. He's just took it early with the outside of his left foot. As a keeper comes out, his idea's right, but he had more time than he thought there. And then the follow-up, obviously, from that there, just put it straight over the bar. What an opportunity that was.
With a good flick on, Ekra keeps it. Alex Martinez, who has not scored a goal in more than a year's time. His last goal coming against Bethlehem on July 29th of 2017.
It's interesting because both, obviously, him and his brother came to Carolina Railhawks when I was there as a player and coaching, and to see them how they are, and you know, and their training habits, and two real workers, and it's amazing how one brother's sort of moved on, and this one's now trying to find his rhythm and find really his place within the group now, and it's great that he just needs to score some goals.
Bethlehem taking advantage of that counter-attack space we talked about. Chambers finding Galena. Michi Galena to the outside, puts a shot on Dykstra again. It's Chambers blocked in front. Chambers once more, and Bethlehem have their goal in the 7th. Fool me once, but you're not going to fool me twice. Chambers gets Bethlehem off and running here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. 1-0 to Brendan Burke's side.
What a finish. Great finish, and you can just see he starts it all with a build-up, gets out to Galena here, and I love this. Look at him, little drops his shoulder, puts the defender on his back foot. He does everything right across goal, and there you see Chambers stepping up. His own man gets in the way, and he follows it up with another side foot, but real good composure from Chambers. But this is all made there from Galena on that outside. Does everything right. As you see, look, controls that first volley inside of his foot, and then the second one, he hits into the floor and goes over the defender. But he earned his luck on that.
So the skipper leading from the front for the Bethlehem Steel Football Club. And you could just see the amount of time and space that Bethlehem had going the other way. There didn't seem to be one single Charlotte Independence midfielder who was tracking back. It was just simply 3 or 4 Bethlehem players running at the back line of Charlotte.
That's exactly what we, you know, this is what we spoke about at the beginning of the show. That's where they're so good. You know, Bethlehem Steel will come quick. Look at this Galena here. He's full of tricks and a very, very good player. And they just came quick. They broke quick, and they exposed this left-hand side and got it out to Galena in a 1v1 situation, and he did everything else he needed to do.
James Chambers with his 2nd goal of the season. Bethlehem just with 1 loss on the year when they've scored first. For Charlotte, they have not won a game when they've conceded in the early going, as Santi Moart trying to weave his way through. Jake Arman comes away with it. Who did all the injuries for the Charlotte Independence, has gotten more and more playing time and is starting to grow into his role. Had a very important play in the game against Penn FC where he kept the ball alive for his club. And then it would be an Alex Martinez finding Eamon Zayed in the middle of the box. And, well, that would prove to be just the lone goal that Charlotte would have on the night, as Omar Holness touches it away from the defender. The Jamaican sends it across, intended for Faris. And last touch is going to be off of the big Cameroonian striker.
Clever what he's trying to do there. Took a little touch. You could see Charlotte centre-back having a little word with him. He took it around the corner, goes out of play, and obviously goes to the floor. But exactly, Bethlehem Steel again there on that quick counter-attack. What's so good is you see Holness, he comes up with Ferris and joins in that attack, and it makes the two centre-backs have to occupy, which then gives them the space out wide. They can double up, and that's causing here, Charlotte at the minute a little bit of problems. They're going to have to work that out from a midfield aspect.
Herrera, clever little ball through for Kai Fosser. Charlotte on the move now. Fosser. Alex Martinez. Look for a moment like Martinez is going to try to be a bit more patient on the ball for Charlotte, which isn't a surprise, but on that type of play, Sam, I don't know if there was anything in particular he could have done, but when you have that kind of space and you're Fosser on top of the ball, at some point do you just need to put your head down and go at somebody 1v1?
I think so, but I think it comes down to confidence. If you're a team that's, you know, you're in a little bit of an inconsistent patch, it's very difficult, and I think that's just confidence, like you said. But yeah, he's in a 1v1 situation, and he has the ability to go and get to the end line and get something.
Here's Holness, sliding it through is intended for Ferris. And Dykstra able to pick it up. And credit to Andrew Dykstra, the keeper for Charlotte, who has been put in some tough situations in the first 10 minutes. He made a couple of great saves. But just...
He's got to be so disappointed.
Yeah.
2 great saves. Just seemed to catch Charlotte. It just seemed to catch him off guard. It just all of a sudden, you know, and I think that's where the, you know, Mike's, you know, the head coach has been took. Mike Jeffries was explaining about that, how it's been so difficult with this back four. And like you said, it was brilliant that you said at the beginning of the show that there was no excuses about it. It's a reality for him, and he's doing video, and the units are coming together. But you could just see there that the frailty's there. That any sort of penetrating ball at the minute between the two centre backs, of anything between Vaughan and Duckett, and they're getting exposed at the minute.
Duckett gives it away. Santi Moar just scoops it over the top of Duckett. Now here's Santi Moar on the move. Moar still with it, gets it over for Galena. Still Galena. And touched away by Sam Vines just at the last moment. But Santi Moar was runner-up for Rookie of the Year in the USL in 2017. Only falling to Chris Wehan of Reno 1868 is Jan Ekra. Picking it up in some space. Back for Alex Martinez again. Alex Martinez towards the byline. Good defensive play there from Drew Scrundrich.
You know, even for me with Ekra there, he's in a 1v1 situation and turns back out, you know, just before that. And that's where you're speaking about for Charlotte. They need to try and attack and get some penetration, get a couple of shots. They've not had a shot. They're the home team.
Johnson lost it towards the back post. It'll stay in play with Jake Arman. New Jersey native back for Alex Martinez. And that ball intended for Herrera. As Joel Johnson with some good pressure, but called for the foul. And it'll come out the other way in favor of Bethlehem, who have their goal in the form of James Chambers in the 7th minute.
You know, it's an unwritten rule when you go into, you're playing an away game, you expect to be in an onslaught for the first 10 minutes of the game, and Charlotte just have been in that defensive to middle third but had nothing going forward. And you think as a home team that maybe they'd come out and try and turn a few balls. I know it's not what they do, but maybe turn a few balls over the top just to try something a little bit different.
Referee says play on. Bethlehem looking to make it 3 wins in a row after their more than convincing performances against Atlanta United 2 and the Richmond Kickers. Their last loss coming against Indy 11. Alex Martinez after the turnover. Intended for Herrera. Jan Ekra was wide open on this near left-hand side, but Alex Martinez has his eyes set on the veteran from Colombia.
Yeah, he was 3-4 steps too late. Herrera, if you get to see that again, Herrera's movement, he pulls away. You know, you can see him talking to him now. Look, get your head up, unlucky. See the captain doing his job, or the old experienced pro doing his job there, because he pulls away for a great ball into feet, and it's just in that decision-making time.
Well, Martinez did have the assist on the Ayman Zayed goal. It's Penn FC. As Jake Arman trots over to go take the corner for Mike Jeffries' side here in the 14th minute. And corner kicks brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Amin Hadzic, I'm going to check up on some perhaps handsy play in the penalty area at the moment. It'll be an in-swinger from Armin. Good driven ball in, loose in front. What a save from Maguire. It was a touch at the last moment from Kavan George, but Jake Maguire able to punch it over the bar and keep it at 1-0.
Great save by the goalkeeper there. Not sure about the defending as it comes in. It's a wonderful ball here. Look, in swinging, like you said, whipped in, and defender just gets the wrong side. It was a great touch, and the keeper makes a really, really good save.
Well, delivery was excellent from Armin. Does he have another one in store? Similar ball, loose in front. Watson was there. And it looked like it was Matt Mahoney who got the last touch to it. Indeed it was. Another corner kick coming up for Charlotte. Their third of the night. And their third in about 90 seconds time.
Two great deliveries.
Now it's Kai Fosser over on this left-hand side. Fosser, back post. Won by Holness. Armin. Gets to the byline, but his delivery goes straight out of play. And a goal kick coming for Jake Maguire. Sam, you and I were talking about before we came on live about how perhaps Mike Jeffrey's side didn't need to change things up in terms of their style, but maybe just be a tad more aggressive, a bit more courageous when they get into the attacking third, because everything leading up to that is spectacular. They love to keep it on the deck, they love to move the ball, but it just seems like they get stagnant when the moment is asking the most of them.
I totally agree, and you know, Charlotte Independence of teams of old, Mike Jeffrey's teams of old are very much, sorry, he's just waiting for that foul, you know, very much a possession and penetrate, and I think, you know, they're just trying to find that connection up top. You know, we talk about consistency, but sometimes it's difficult, you know, it affects the whole team. You know, if the team defensively feels like, you know, they can concede goals, all of a sudden you don't go as forward, you're an outside back who likes to get forward. That was my position, but if we're conceding goals, maybe I'm not going to get forward as much, means I can't support going into that box, which means I then get detached from my front players to be able to connect, and I think that's kind of what's happening at the minute, and they're just not getting that final third entry. And what was great about the conversation, and I've got a free kick coming up here, was how he knows the goal scoring situation. You know, we spoke to him about it and through the league, and he had such knowledge on it and his stats, and you know, he sees it, he knows it, he even made a joke about it in a great way, and it's something that I think right the way through the USL is that final entry, those goal scorers. I think once a team gets that, or one team's goal scorer comes alive, they go on these runs because the game's wide open, and it's great. It's great. You know, it's great for the league and for all the franchises.
All right, well, a free kick coming up for the Independents as Mike Jeffrey's side looking to equalize at home here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Armin, another teasing ball in. George will bring it down. Bizo out to defend. Here's Watson. Mahoney got up for it. Fosser. And a handball on Farris. Well, for the Independents, they had this prior weekend off, and then it was just a midweek match against Penn FC last week. So they've had a little bit of time off. He says it's an interesting break in the schedule, Mike Jeffries, just as far as everything's been structured. And they went about last week business as usual, but gave them a day off here or there. And Mike Jeffries, for those of you who don't know, an avid cyclist, and actually went up Morrow Mountain for a nice little bike ride on one of the days off that he gave the side. But he said that is going to give them a few more days off after this matchup, as Fosser's delivery doesn't get past the first defender. The crowd here at the Sportsplex at Matthews asking for a foul. And by crowd, we mean the Jacks Militia, who had a pretty good vantage point on the entire thing over on this left-hand side of the Sportsplex at Matthews. And there is Mr. Jeffries. Here's Armin finding Ekra. Alex Martinez in his shot. He's going to want that one back.
Much better there. You see Alex Martinez there, just obviously putting it over the bar with his right foot, with his hands on his head, but much better interaction with that wide player and with that wide interchange. And that's what we were speaking about. Once they can get it into Herrera, he's such a clever little player. He wants that ball into his feet. You can just see again, look, lovely little cut back there. Lets it run. And Martinez, as you can see, just tries, he's obviously trying to side foot that into the far corner, maybe just across his body and just gets under it. But if they could get it into Herrera's feet, you know, he's such a clever little player and brings people into the game. And they'll be that, you know, that's going to be a real good option for them, and especially with his goals.
Bethlehem throwing after a little bit of discussion. Johnson back for Armin. Armin with some good work, but runs out of real estate. It's about 20 minutes in here in North Carolina. James Chambers with the lone goal in this affair so far in the 7th minute. The initial save coming from Andrew Dykstra, but the rebound back out to the Irishman, and he was able to thump it home. Fosser. Jan Ekra. Joel Johnson making an overlapping run over on the far side. Makes its way to this near left-hand side with Vines. Alex Martinez again. Armin bringing it down. See Bethlehem just creating a wall of white jerseys.
Just dropped, bunkered right in there. Just dropped into a 5. Shifting is very difficult, but they're doing very, you know, Charlotte's doing excellent with their ball movement.
Good pressure from Bizo. Bethlehem come away with it.
And that's where we're talking about risk-reward for me. When they're up in that final third and they just give the ball away, you see Martinez, and that's what he does really well, is he gets around and he presses. And I think if Charlotte can just sort of let it go there, maybe 2 or 3 more passes, and they might be able to win the ball back a little bit further up the field, just in those situations, and then they're going to win it and be going straight to goal.
Fosser with the big switch over for Joel Johnson.
Lovely ball.
Back for Ekra. Excellent movement from Charlotte. Ekra's delivery takes a deflection off of Brandon Aubrey, and another corner coming up for the Jacks.
Great ball by Fosbury. Been very impressed with him for Charlotte in the first 20 minutes of this game. He's smooth, he gets on it, his movement's very good, he switches play. See what Ekra's doing there, he just turns in, he's looking for Herrera's run, he's just trying to guide it in just between the goalkeeper and the defender into that 6-yard box for Herrera, but just gets cut out.
Another Chick-fil-A corner kick. Armin. Both deliveries have been great so far. This one no different. It's going to be a foul coming out the other way. I believe it was Javon Watson pushing off of the defender.
3 great deliveries there. Makes such a difference, eh, when that ball's whipped in and you've got players that can come and attack it. And he's put in 3 real good balls, Armin.
Well, credit to Charlotte, who after conceding the goal have really been the dominant side for the last 15 minutes or so. Bethlehem haven't been able to muster up much of anything.
No, the reaction's been brilliant, you know, and it shows that, you know, to me that shows the side that still fully, oh, you can see come right over the top there. Don't know if that's a foul. It's an interesting one, this. It would be good to see.
That was against Farris.
It looked like he leaped quick and then Martinez just ducked into it.
Brendan Burke having a conversation with the 4th official.
Very calmly. A very calm conversation. I've seen that be a lot different.
Well, maybe if his sign was down a goal rather than up a goal, it would have been a different conversation.
For sure.
And if it was you having the conversation with the 4th official?
Be the same.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson. No, it would be. Obviously when you're younger as a player, but I think it's interesting, you know, it's always a reflection of your team's always a reflection, you know, and you see these managers that are really calm on the sideline. And
did we lose comms again?
And then you have Pep Guardiola, who's moving and shifting, and his team's as successful, so.
Or Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
Armin again on the free kick. Brought down by Galena. Farris couldn't quite get a hold of it. Alex Martinez, that's clever to find Herrera. Jan Ecker will still be able to get there. Ecker for Martinez. Back for Herrera. Jorge Herrera going for the curler. Blocked in front. Sam Vines going for goal.
Great play there from Charlotte. Really good to see Martinez. Two really clever balls. I like the one where he just put it back into Herrera's feet. You can see what Herrera was trying to do. He's trying to open his body up and just place it in that bottom corner.
Santos Laguna on September 5th, right here in the Sportsplex. Grab your tickets for Independence's second ever international friendly match.
You hear the public address announcer here at the Sportsplex at Matthews promoting a pretty interesting fixture between the Independents and Liga MX champion Santos Laguna, which should be just an excellent opportunity for the fans here in the North Carolina area to see such a quality side. I mean, not like North Carolina FC and Charlotte don't bring that to the table, but I mean, Santos Laguna and Liga MX, that's really, really good stuff.
Just great. It's great for the game, eh? You know, more and more these teams are coming over in their sort of pre-season or start of the season, should you say, and it's brilliant. Or mid-season breaks, and they're playing the USL teams and having great games. I think it's brilliant. They're so interchangeable, Charlotte. That's what I like to see. Martinez just coming inside. He's trying to spring Vine on the overlap, and they come inside. They drift inside Charlotte's two wide players really, really well into those pockets, and it allows those outside backs to get forward. And since they started doing that, they've had a lot more of the ball and started to put Bethlehem Steel. They're nicking it in these little good areas.
Well, here's Martinez picking it up again, finding Herrera. Now it's Armin. Sam Vines getting involved. Early delivery, and Ecker was there. Good defending, though, from Brandon Aubrey. Alex Martinez shielding off Galena. Bethlehem have been squandering possession. And right on cue, Charlotte do the same. And now Bethlehem looking to play out of trouble. Farris. Farris still with it. Seems to glide past defenders.
Waiting for that opportunity on his left foot.
Here's Real. Decent delivery in, gave Dykstra a lot of trouble.
Done very well in the end there.
Chalk it up to another save for Andrew Dykstra, who's got about 4 or 5 of them already. Just 27 minutes in.
It's interesting. This is where you can really start seeing the game plans to involve. You know, Bethlehem still like to build up in these wide areas, and they've had a little bit of joy down that left-hand side. But in fact, Martinez on this right-hand side has nicked the ball 3 or 4 times off the fullback trying to play in there, and they've had some success for that. It'll be interesting to see how that little sort of thing, that spell happens for the rest of the game.
Charlotte still looking to unlock this Bethlehem defense, which has only given up 1 goal in the last 2 games, while pumping in 7. Foster spraying it out wide for Joel Johnson. We've really yet to see him put his stamp on the match. Herrera. In for Ecker. Good step from Javon Watson. Bizo just going to get around Sam Vines, and should be obstruction, and it is.
Great defense. That's clever play from me. I don't know if Vines meant to or tried to get out of the way, but just putting his body in the way stops all of that. And I think that's where Charlotte, the last 10-15 minutes in their build-up and possession has been very, very good, and you can just see here he does well there. Yeah, Vines does very well, should I say, just getting his body in there, and you can see it. But just before that, it was mentioned about the possession from Charlotte's been excellent. But that's I think when they're at their most dangerous to get encountered on. You've just got to be careful on that quick exchange.
Their greatest strength, also their greatest weakness.
For sure.
Let's see what Vines was trying to do on that first touch.
Just trying to help it around the corner, as you said.
Extra with good distribution. Johnson brings it down. Still with it. It's really well done from Joel Johnson. And able to keep it for Charlotte. He was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year in 2017 as well.
Yeah, great defender. Loves to get forward, as you can see. You know, he's really helped change the balance of the game, really, for the two outside backs getting forward. You can see Vine going now, and Johnson done very well.
Alex Martinez thought about it. Now we'll have it. Not far off at all. And Alex Martinez starting to grow with confidence as this game grows on.
Carolina Golf Cars, Charlotte's only authorized dealer.
Yeah, you can see Martinez just drops it there, tries to open up his body and then catches it clean. The goalkeeper's got no chance if that's a foot inside that post. Didn't even move. He's done well considering it's probably the first 3 or 4 passes he gave away, and that shows character for the young player and how well he's turned it around, and his movement's been good, and obviously now getting more involved in the attack and having that opportunity.
26 years of age, Alex Martinez. Originally from Montevideo, Uruguay. With his family and, of course, his brother Enzo, who was excellent for the Independents over a number of years. As here's Faris again, but slips on his way in. And now Charlotte perhaps looking to counter on the other end after Bethlehem committed numbers forward. Johnson gets it away. Jan Ekra. Kai Fosser. Ekra again. His shot is deflected. Maguire thought about coming out. Herrera brings it down for Alex Martinez. And Martinez just muscled off the ball by Paizo.
Paizo just got his body in there, and then they had a little bounce back there. And it's always good when you get that opportunity as a defender, look, because he's off balance, he's not going anywhere, and he just gets to put his body in there, and it always looks a little bit worse than it is. And you can see those two here and you can see there Martinez just giving them a little knock back.
Well, that's the competitive spirit of Alex Martinez at its finest, and Paizo, well, wasn't exactly sportsman of the year in trying to help him up. Past the half-hour mark here in Charlotte. Bethlehem Steel with the lead, thanks to their captain and their leader, James Chambers, in the 7th minute. Probably should have had a goal before that as well, as Faris was played in the first about 120 seconds, and Dykstra had to make a huge save, and then just a few minutes later was Chambers with his 2nd goal of the year. His only other goal was that game-tying one against New York Rebels 2. That was a bit difficult for Joel Johnson and Bethlehem Steel fans. How could they forget that matchup against John Walnick's side? They were down 2-0 and were chasing the game virtually for the entire 90 minutes. And then Chris Nenko with 2 assists late in the game, and James Chambers with a goal in the 94th minute to come away with a point against their rivals. Here's Sam Vines on the other end. Just dinks it in. Ekra on the first time.
Brilliant.
Terrific idea from both players involved. Charlotte still with it. Armin. Good delivery in. Mahoney's there to break it up. And knocked away by Santimar.
Fans, we are McKenna strong.
Just see a lovely ball from Martinez in behind, and you see Vine there is really clever. I love there. He's just tried to stand it, dink it back just to the front, sorry, that near post. You see Ekra coming in there, just trying to side foot volley it across his body. Real good play from Charlotte there.
Will be donated to McKenna and her family.
Well, it's a great idea from Sam Vines, but the level of difficulty trying to take that first-time shot from Ekra, I mean, cannot be understated. For the ball to be coming away on the other side and then having to take it, as James Chambers appears to be in excruciating amount of pain.
Yeah, it's not often you see Chambers go down like that.
And the athletic trainer being waved on by Amin Hadzic, our head referee for tonight. Jorge Herrera is checking up on his fellow veteran.
He's okay. I think you just see him have, not there, he's not, but just before he just had a little wink as the guy came over. As he was rolling around, but he definitely got caught.
It's like you said, Sam, James is usually not one of those players to roll around and make a meal out of it, like some Brazilians that we know. I'm not going to name any names, Neymar, but
it's not intentional. It's caught him, he's landed right on his ankle. You see it in the replay, it just, his left ankle buckles out. But I don't think it was it's not an intentional over the top, you know, stamp. It's one of those ones that you feel, and then it's excruciating, and you just got to get up more.
Once the adrenaline goes,
you've got to get up and walk, and you can see there now. And now you sort of normally know, that I might be in a little bit of trouble here, or yeah, I can run this one off.
It was Kavan George, Trinidad and Tobago native, who's shown yellow here in the 36th minute.
Yellow card Independence, 35th minute, number 13, George.
Over 20 caps for the Trinidad and Tobago national team. He actually started in that World Cup qualifier against the United States, which saw the Yanks get ousted from their possibility of getting to the World Cup in Russia. That ended with France hoisting up the World Cup.
And England having a great semi-final, right?
Of course you were going to throw that in.
Game's changed now back home, it seems like it. The new era.
New era?
Let's hope.
Let's hope. The Southgate era.
Yep, European Championships in 2 years, that's the one.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
It's clever. You see Herrera shapes that. You know, he's not trying to press and win the ball from a forward, but he's shaping the centre back into that area. Bethlehem still, you know, they're trying to build up in those, but you can see him, they're shaping into this area, and that's where ends, I beg your pardon, Martinez there. Alex is just, he's picked up 3 or 4 of those balls in that pocket.
Don't worry, I think you're about one of 17 broadcasters who's made that mistake this season already, including myself.
And like I said, I played with them both when they came.
Yep.
They were, you know, and they're exactly how they are now. Brilliant, hard work, great. Two great professionals, you know, young professionals at the time. It was a few years ago now. But yeah, you know, they're very close as well as brothers, which is nice. Hopefully he won't be offended.
I'll just make sure to let Mike Jeffries know on our next call with him that you made the mistake, and it'll get back to Alex, and we'll see how he feels. One of the things I love that Mike Jeffries would say about the Martinez brothers is that they were just so unbelievably competitive with each other in the best of ways, and they would have contests with who could go the longest without having a piece of candy or drink a cup of soda in terms of staying fit. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
As Bethlehem on the move for the first time in a while, the delivery in wasn't a bad one, but only one run being made to the near post, and it was Ferris, but nobody else home for Brandenburg's side. Johnson curling it into the path of Alex Martinez. Alex just trying to dink it in for Jorge Herrera.
Look at his work rate to try and win it back.
Holness tries to get along for Ferris. Ferris was in until the offside flag was up.
I'd like to see that again. It looked like Vine in this on this bottom corner kept him on. It looked like he was in. Just in that bottom hand corner, you can see Vine, but
well, Senti Moore would have been onside, so Ferris could have held up and then perhaps let Moore run onto it. Well, our producer Ryan Rose, who does an excellent job as always, letting us know that Bethlehem's last shot attempt that is, not even on target, came in the 9th minute, so it just goes to show how much Charlotte have dominated since conceding the goal to James Chambers in the 7th. Here's Ekra. His shot takes a deflection, and a corner kick coming up for Charlotte.
You see Johnson on the overlap there. Does very well because his run allows Ekra to be able to get his shot off. I'm sure he won't think that, just doing 75 yards. But it was a great run from him on the outside that freed up the space for Ekra.
And corner kicks brought to you as always by Chick-fil-A. Foster again, 40th minute. 5th corner of the night for the Jacks. Foster, lofted delivery. Well won by Omar Holness. Ekra. It's a nip from behind. Dangerous from Bethlehem. Chambers got a very important touch to it. Santimawara with good skills. Skundrich able to find Galina. Bizo getting involved. Out wide for Olivier Bizo. And Galina, a little bit too hot to handle. I think Bizo was intending it to get to the top of the box in the form of James Chambers. Here's Skundrich. Martinez trying to win it back. It'll fall for Galina. His delivery, a good one, all the way towards the back post, and Holness couldn't quite bring it down, and a goal kick coming for Andrew Dykstra after all that.
Dykstra very lucky there, the goalkeeper. You come out, you see him trying to punch it and actually misses it, but just too much pace on the cross. See here, it just gets flicked outside. It's actually a great ball. You can see he cuts it back in. The goalkeeper tries to get 2 hands on it. It's just got too much for Holness to be able to get hold of.
Alex Martinez along for Sam Vines, linking up with Jan Ekra. Charlotte slowly but surely switching the point of attack. Armin. Encouraging ball forward for Sam Vines. Thought about delivery. Finding the feet of Armin. Jake Armin lets it loose.
Really good play from Charlotte again. They build up, they're switching the point of attack. They're getting it out wide, and then you see Armin there. You fancy him with his deliveries and his execution on dead balls. You can see he's disappointed with himself. It drops from just nice on his left foot and just lifts it up over the bar.
If you're Bethlehem and Brendan Burke, are you comfortable with that sequence of events? Because it didn't seem like Charlotte were all that threatening until Jake Armin decides to have a shot from about 25 yards out.
I think no, you've hit the nail on the head. They're 25. If I'm on that back four and with the team shooting from 25, 30 yards, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Here's Moar. He was trying to find Nietzsche Galina on this near side. He's cut out by Sam Vines. Herrera. Back for Ekra. Jan Ekra on the move. Alex Martinez. Ekra taken down. Charlotte were waiting for a call. They're not going to get one. Armin. Ekra. James Chambers closing down the avenue.
Just a little bit of frustration there from Ekra. He's been excellent. He's been the real, for me, he's been the player that's made it really work for me in this first 43 minutes with Charlotte. He pops up into different areas. He wants the ball into his feet. Just on that turn there, maybe could have hit it a little bit earlier, but he's been all over that attacking half for Charlotte. See Chambers, such an old pro, knows exactly what to do, knows when to go down, when to slow it down. You know, he's such a talisman for that group, with being such a young group in there and all trying, still some learning their trade, and you know, he really keeps it together.
And he was hurt for a large majority at the beginning of the season. And Brendan Burke was just thrilled to have him back in the lineup and to be able to try to guide some of these younger players. Such a calming presence to be able to have somebody like that who can put his foot on the ball in the middle of the field, slow everything down, dictate the tempo. And also in training, day in and day out, offering tutelage. Fosser, over for Armin. Jake Armin going for the curler, not a bad idea. And maybe some of his teammates feeling that it should have been a delivery rather than a shot.
I like that from Armin there, the young lad. He's cut inside, he's on his left foot. You know exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to open his body up and bend it far post. The only thing he needs to do is just keep, you know, if he gets that on target or anything, the keeper saves, it drops and can drop, you know. It's probably the disappointing, but here they work it brilliant again. Comes out to him, look, he opens up. He's just trying to whip his ball around into that far post. Just overhits it again.
We'll have a minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time. A minimum of 2 minutes of stoppage time.
Here's Ekra. Just 120 seconds added on to this first half here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Charlotte looking for that equalizer. Chambers' goal coming 38 minutes ago as Herrera was taken down. Referee not interested, Javon Watson able to win the free kick.
Javon Watson's coming from behind there, you can see that.
And you can hear Brendan Burke saying that Javon Watson scissored Ferris, and I have to agree with him.
Yeah, and Ferris is a big lad and obviously strong and held him off, and I think his size and his strength has made that not look as bad as it was, because Watson's come in, like you said, from behind. You can see here, he comes in, he doesn't win the first one, but then Ferris does well, and then he comes in and scissors him from behind.
Maybe a little bit of a makeup call from Jorge Herrera going down and not getting the call just about 10 seconds ago.
It definitely happens like that.
It's the only explanation I can think of. Either way, we'll resume play. Armin dumps it in. Easy work from Maguire, just sees it out of play.
That there kind of, you know, the first half kind of sums Charlotte Independence up. You know, they've been excellent, they're combining, but there's just that final ball, that final decision, that final product. Everything else has been, you know, very, very good.
10 shots, just one on goal to challenge Jake Maguire in these first 45 minutes. And that's going to do it for the first half. Here from Matthews, the Charlotte Independents concede one in the 7th minute to none other than the captain of the Bethlehem Steel, James Chambers, with his second goal of the season, after Andrew Dykstra made a couple of brilliant saves to keep it at 0-0 in the first few moments of this one. But Brendan Burke and his side head into the dressing room with a 1-0 lead. Sam Stockley, your thoughts?
I think exactly that. You know, I think Charlotte Independents have been very, very good. They just haven't got that cutting edge, and Bethlehem Steel have caught them on a counter-attack, and I think that's how it will probably be in the second half as well, unless Charlotte Independents can find a way to break that deadlock and get some goals, some shots on target.
Bethlehem Steel currently sitting at 9th in the Eastern standings. Charlotte in 10th. Brendan Burke's side looking to create a little bit of separation between themselves and Mike Jeffrey's club. Right now, just a 1-goal separation. Andrew Dykstra was brilliant in the first couple of minutes, but couldn't keep this one out. And that's the only reason why there's anything separating these two sides beside a few hundred miles. It's Bethlehem 1, Charlotte 0 at the half.
Oh, I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
Tarjeta.
¿No encuentras tu tarjeta de débito? Desactívala con tu app.
Disculpa, estoy buscando mi tarjeta.
Esta es la tuya, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Y cuando la encuentres, vuélvela a activar.
Halftime here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. James Chambers and the Bethlehem Steel with a 1-0 lead over the Charlotte Independents, who they dismantled a little more than a month ago back at Goodman Stadium in the Lehigh Valley. And Mike Jeffries and his side feeling they owe Brendan Burke and the Bethlehem Club 1. But right now it's Bethlehem 1, Charlotte 0, and we'll take a look at what is next for the Bethlehem Steel. And what's next for the Bethlehem Steel and for Charlotte are the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, one of the most defensive-minded teams in the United Soccer League and probably anywhere in the world. Will be taking on these two sides in the next matchup. Pittsburgh have been excellent this season. Their goal differential, maybe not something to boast about, but at the same time, they just continually get results. And Bethlehem, as of late, they've been getting results as well. They're looking to make it 3 in a row on the road here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. And we'll take a look at their next 5 matches, including that matchup against Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh River Rhinos. They're at TFC2. They're home against Ottawa. They're at Nashville, and they're home against Penn. A little bit of flip-flopping between Goodman, you know, up in the North Country, and then at Nashville. But Sam Stockley, the Bethlehem Steel, they're in good form right now, and they're trying to take that form on the road.
Very much so. You know, they have a really good unit. When they lose the ball, they drop in. As you've seen in this first half of the 45 minutes against Charlotte Independents, and they're comfortable on the road. You know, so and like I said, their attacking ability anywhere, whether they're home or away, is such a threat at the minute.
And that Penn FC game will bring us all the way to September 2nd. As you can see, is a boatload of games for Brendan Burke's side in the coming weeks. And for the Charlotte Independents, as we mentioned, they will also be taking on Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in their next matchup, which is Saturday, August 18th. We mentioned this strange breakup in the schedule for the Jacks, and Mike Jeffries said he's going to give the guys a number of days off because fatigue has very much been a part of their inconsistency as of late.
I think it's fatigue, and I'm sure from a player standpoint, it's nice just to get away from the building and your teammates and spend some time with your family and regroup, and, you know, and come back fully charged, especially when you're in those kind of inconsistent runs.
Well, they're going to need to be fully charged when you take a look at this schedule, home against Louisville City FC, at NCFC, home against Nashville, and then home against the Richmond Kickers. I mean, if you're Mike Jeffries and the Charlotte Independents, there's really only one matchup on this where you're circling it and saying it should probably be 3 points. It's the Richmond Kickers matchup. Other than that, all of these are tough games, always a good derby matchup with NCFC.
And you know, sometimes a good derby can kick off your season, and what a time to kick your season off. You know, you might be all doom and gloom and it feels like it's inconsistent, but you go down to your local neighbours, should I say, and get some points and come back, and then it's a whole different ball game as you run into the playoffs and move forward.
Well, they're trying to get into the playoffs, but at the moment they're trailing Bethlehem Steel by a score of 1-0. And at the moment, we're going to toss you to some fresh, hot off the stove, Week 21 highlights for the United Soccer League. Take a look.
Second time, and it's blocked.
Wow, what a save from Wazinski there.
And another save for Lopez.
Estrada, save! Fettelson!
Nachimpong, left-footed ball, saved!
Starikov, saved Ranjitsing.
Spark the counterattack the other way. Christian Duke couldn't get there. Great move. 2-2 on the move. It's a 2-on-1. Still with it. T2 all the way. Oh my goodness.
To free up Sam Hamilton, and now speaking of freeing up, here's Shane Malcolm. Malcolm with the left foot scores!
What a tremendous goal from Shane Malcolm, absolutely beautiful.
Jeb looking to work some space, but Jeb's gonna give it a go! Beyond the Jeb with his 4th goal of the season, and it's an absolute beauty.
Another chance at Senate. Delivers.
The Desmond will send it across. Adi on the header, and Pickens makes the save.
And again, it's a teasing ball towards the back post, and Ferrigno somehow, some way, tips it over the bar.
Troyer! Oh, what a spectacular save by McGuire.
Mohamed, no.
Oh, Danny Lynn, great save.
5 clears, edge of the Tampa Bay penalty area, and oh, what a goal. And it's Nana Cora. Pushing upfield, go to the top by Venegas, and it's in for Indy. McInerney on the doorstep.
Well played into the box for Asante, knocks it down, and it's in the net.
Burt crosses this one, far side for Uso, into the back of the net!
Nice little touch.
To Francois, drives
there it is!
It's outside of the house, Hammer lead!
Not down, Illich stabs it back, Davis!
Side, but Jeb looking to work some space, but Jeb's gonna give it a go! Beyond the Jeb with his 4th goal of the season, and it's an absolute beauty!
Zambrano, smart to counterattack the other way. Christian Duke couldn't get there. Great move. T2 on the move. It's a 2-on-1. Still with it. T2 all the way. Oh my goodness. It's an individual effort that only some can dream of. Marvin Loria.
Pushing upfield, go to the top by Venegas, and it's in for Indy. McInerney.
Well played into the box for Asante, knocks it down, and it's in the net. Asante's 7th of the season.
Trying to find Adi if he can off the service. The Desmond will send it across. Adi on the header, and Pickens makes the save. Nearly on cue, partner.
Long, if you can believe it. Holmby, save, follow, Illich can't get there. Owine Fawn Williams kept that out.
It's Wharton again. And again, it's a teasing ball towards the back post, and Ferrigno somehow, some way, tips it over the bar.
He got a piece of that. Troyer! Oh, what a spectacular save by McGuire.
Tarjeta.
¿No encuentras tu tarjeta de débito? Desactívala con tu app.
Disculpa, estoy buscando mi tarjeta.
Esta es la tuya, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Y cuando la encuentres, vuélvela a activar.
I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
Some unbelievable stuff from the United Soccer League in Week 21 here in Week 22. And on this magnificent Wednesday in the Charlotte area, Bethlehem Steel with a 1-0 lead over the Charlotte Independents. We talked about the weather at the top of the broadcast, which up until this point has not been a problem. We heard some whispers of rain that could potentially put a damper on this matchup, but the Lightning, it seems like it won't hit the Sportsplex at Matthews. Tyler Terrence along with Sam Stockley, and we'll take a look at how the first half went down here for Mike Jeffries and Brendan Burke's side. And Sam, opening moments, it was all Bethlehem Steel. Farris with a great opportunity to get them up 1-0 in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, just got slipped through, and he's, you know, I said at the time, thought he maybe gone round him, but he's actually done everything right. He's tried outside of his left foot and taken it quick, and keeper just makes a great save. And here you see Chambers starting it, opens up his body, comes out here to Galena. Lovely, drops his shoulder and goes across goal low. That's what's so good about that effort there. And then you see Chambers following up. He hits his first player, but stays composed on the second one. But you see here, this little movement, you see he just drops his left shoulder and it just opens it up. And then the execution across goal, that's where he gets the chance. And the second one, he hits into the floor and goes over, but does brilliant.
Well, credit to Andrew Dykstra, who made an excellent save on that first shot from Galena. And then this was about 10 minutes later. Matt Real, it was supposed to be a delivery, but gave Dykstra all sorts of problems.
You just see Dykstra, I'm not sure he didn't think of where he was or what was happening, and does well to deal with it. This was good from Martinez. You know, he spoke about it at the beginning of the game. He gave 1 or 2 balls away, but he really got himself back into it, and this was an excellent part. You know, he drops his shoulder, and keeper's stood still. He can't get that ball. He hits it so clean, but it's just a little bit off target.
And then the Bethlehem Steel would continue to put pressure on at times in the first half after the James Chambers goal, which came in the 7th minute. This was a good idea on the near side from Galena, trying to find wholeness, but a bit too much pace on it. As we are almost set for the second half here. Sam, if you're Mike Jeffries, what might you be saying to your side in the dressing room?
I think obviously you just got to be very careful of Bethlehem Steel's counter-attack. That's their only outlet when Charlotte have the ball and they're possessing it through into the final third and doing well. And then from a defensive standpoint, they've got to be careful of the counter-attack. And then from an attacking standpoint, they've done everything right. They've possessed the outside backs have got forward, and it's just that final ball, that final decision, that cutting edge in the 18-yard box that's going to make the difference for Charlotte getting back into this game.
I mean, Hodzic getting involved once more, the head referee, here at the start of the second half, and some of the peanut gallery here at the Sportsplex at Matthews, letting the ref exactly how they feel.
I thought he's had quite a good game, to be honest with you.
He's been good.
I agree.
Almost picks it up after the turnover. Chambers finding Santi Moar. Comes the little magician the other way. Moar finding Holness. Holness lets it fly. It's off the post. Patient was Santi Moar, and then Omar Holness just trying to guide it into that far post. Wasn't too far off.
And it all comes, you know, Moar does brilliant here, just draws him in, little outside of the foot. You see Holness, he's just trying to guide that, like you said, into that bottom right-hand corner as he looks at it. But again, ball's given away from Martinez up in attacking third, comes inside, and a quick counter-attack, and they get hit in the post within 5, 6 seconds.
It's eerily similar to how the beginning of the first half went down. Armin.
I've been impressed with Armin in the first half. He does a lot, you know. He just needs to again, can he get a little bit more of an end product on the end of it? But his movement and his left foot, you can see the ideas. You know, it's ideal for him to cut inside and be able to bend it. And he did well in the first half.
Moar, very encouraging first touch. Going the other way, linking up with Holness. Moar taken down by Javon Watson. He's claiming that there was no contact. Moar the other way saying, well, buddy, you caught me on the ankle.
It's interesting, Mohar, you know, that's 2 runs in within 2 minutes, and we didn't really see much of that in the first half, you know, and now with him coming into the game, that's the last thing that the Charlotte Independents need is another outlet with Mohar coming down that left-hand side.
Now it's Chambers who has the goal for Bethlehem, standing on top of the free kick. Loves these types of situations from the dead ball. He's gonna put it on frame, it's off the post! Not sure if Dykstra got a touch to it, but that's 2 woodworks for Bethlehem in the past 2 minutes.
I think Dykstra got lucky.
Bilal Duckett gets it away. Paizo can't keep it in, but it will remain with Bethlehem.
See Chambers here just open up his body, whips it up over the wall, and you can see it just a skip. Gets really lucky, Dykstra. He doesn't get much on it, maybe just enough to push it onto that post, but a couple of more inches to the left-hand side, and that would have been in.
Chambers isn't afraid to put it on frame from virtually anywhere inside of midfield. It's been a flying start for Bethlehem in the opening 3 or 4 minutes or so in the second half. Bethlehem keen on pinning down Charlotte in their own defensive third. The Jacks. Chris Movement coming out. Joel Johnson. Armin. Big switch over for Sam Vines. Alex Martinez. Armin lets it fly, blocked in front by Brandon Aubrey. Wasn't a bad idea from Johnson.
Just see this free kick here. So it just gets up over, and like Jesse does, he just gets his fingertips on it and just pushes it onto the post there, just enough. So
Skundrich able to skip around Kai Fosser. It's Moore again. Somehow keeps it. Gets it over for Holness. Galena. Paizo overlapping. Galena's still with it. And his shot, unfortunately, almost traveling out for a throw-in. Real keeps it in play, able to win a corner kick. And it's the little plays such as that, Sam, that can sometimes lead to a goal on the other end.
Exactly that. He cuts inside. You think he's going to bend it, and obviously got caught. Comes out here, outside back gets forward, and now they get a corner.
Bethlehem Steel corner kick.
Santi Moore. Free header in front, it's just over the bar. It was Brandon Aubrey. Completely unmarked by the Charlotte Independents. You can see Javon Watson and Bilal Duckett having a little conversation about when went down.
Lovely ball in, driven in there. Said just loses his marker, and I think the centre-back's done that. I've lost my marker, maybe I hurt my head. He goes down, but no, he just got caught out of position there. And centre-back there for Bethlehem still gets his head on the ball. Lovely ball in from Mohar.
Pressure again from Bethlehem, giving Charlotte all sorts of issues. We saw this in their 4-1 loss against Louisville at Slugger Field, as Matt Real's service is nowhere near where he intended. Sam, going back to Bilal Duckett, claiming that it's an eye issue, although he
seems injured. He might be. We'll have to see that one again. But
still making a meal out of it if it's in fact nothing, but it seems like there's something going on.
For sure. He's nearly scored a goal. You got to milk that one.
Well, it's sort of like a tennis player looking at their racket when they make a bad shot, but
if it makes you feel, I used to do that often when I was down crossing, and it would go behind the goal, and obviously there was a big lump on the floor that I'd pretend to stamp out. So I know how he feels. You can see what Bethlehem still do. They try to break Charlotte's rhythm a little bit. You know, they stand in front of the ball and slow the game down. They're happy to get into this block here. And it's got to be a little bit more clever and careful with their passing, the Charlotte midfielders.
Moar gives it away. But last touch comes off of Armin. Santi Moar picks it up, off and running.
Brilliant.
Trying to find Faris. And Sam Vines gets a touch to it.
So quick on the counter. Great touch inside, and you see what he's trying to do there. A clever little ball inside.
Here's Ekra going the other way. Plenty of time and space. Jan Ekra into the area.
You see the ball, you know, he gets to the byline, and there's 3 Charlotte in the box against Bethlehem 6, and now they're on a counter-attack going the other way, and I think that's the story of what it's been for Charlotte.
Ball slipped through for Galina, trying to knock it across for Faris. And Bilal Duckett very upset with his midfield.
You can see, I would be the same as well as a centre-back, you know. You're on the attack, and all of a sudden you're having to make challenges in your 18-yard box because you're getting caught on a counter-attack. The way they break, it's just numbers coming forward. It's so difficult. Great movement there. I thought he could have maybe done the right thing. He's very unselfish. Very unselfish.
Too unselfish?
Yeah, I think you've got to hit that.
Just because of the angle. Goalie parries it away.
Just because of the angle. I just think because of the angle, you've got to hit that.
Another chance for Bethlehem, this time from the corner. Santi Moar, an outswinger. Dykstra gets a couple of fists to it. Chambers back into the box. That's an excellent ball. But Javon Watson gets ahead to it. Alex Martinez scurrying to keep it in play.
Yeah, it's 37.
Gives it away, though. Faris, a heavy touch. Chambers. Skundrich. Clever to find Moar. Moar takes it, and Dykstra parries it away.
Brilliant from Mohar. All starts with Charlotte not being able to clear the ball, but it does very well to Mohar, and you see his technique there. Just, you know, he's that player. You can see, look, it's crazy, and look, he just creates that time. He lets the ball sit, just that extra half a second, and that ball just drops down, and it makes a difference.
Well, we're going to have our first substitute of the evening.
Bethlehem substitution.
And it's going to be Michi Galina coming off. And Chris Nanko, Canadian and former Syracuse Orangeman, coming onto the scene here in the 56th minute. Galina's done well.
Very well. Caused problems, obviously, the first goal. Had a good hand in that when he dropped his shoulder, and he's been an attacking threat, and you'll see Nacho coming in, and it'll be the same. You know, there'll be one thing that Mike Jeffrey spoke about with this group is they tend to switch players that are like for like in a system, so you expect to see Nacho's doing the same, getting forward on this right-hand side.
And a double switch for Mike Jeffries as it's Matai Moape and Caleb Calvert coming on. This is Calvert's first appearance since he got sent off in the 1-0 win against Nashville. He was suspended 3 games for dragging down Max Lakowecki. Excuse me, Lakowecki's
Exiting were number 4, Jake Armin.
Infringement was in the Tampa Bay game. And that was Donnie Smith getting sent off. There were a couple of red cards in consecutive games for the Charlotte Independents. So just getting my wires crossed a little bit. It was Calvert getting the red card, the straight red, in stoppage time against Nashville. And making his first appearance since then. And a corner kick coming up for Bethlehem. Chris Nanko on top of it. To the near post, Jorge Herrera gets a clearance to it. Decent idea from Aubrey. Ball lofted in, Dykstra off of his line. Vines keeps it in play. Alex Martinez couldn't quite get a touch to it. Chambers. Well done from Farris.
Seems like the first time really, the game's opened up a little bit for the last sort of 2-3 minutes. You can see there's a lot more. Before it's been going wide and, you know, trying to get on an overlap, and this last couple of minutes it's been a little bit more central, and maybe it's tired legs or game's opening up a little bit now. It'll be interesting to see how those quality players get on it.
As you can see, it seems like Jorge Herrera has slid into a little bit more of a withdrawn role with Calvert coming on. Calvert very much an out-and-out number 9. Herrera a bit more versatile. Good defending from Javon Watson.
I think that's a great switch there from the head coach. Herrera's going to get on there. He's a 10. You know, he can play in those pockets. He can see balls, assists. Obviously, he's got 10 goals this season. He'll still have those opportunities. Probably, I think it's been hard for him tonight because everything, you know, he's up against 2 big, strong centre-backs that just want to be physical, where now he can come into spaces either side and really get on the ball.
Herrera trying to get on the right side of Brandon Aubrey. Aubrey looking for a foul. Herrera looking to restart quickly as Mike Jeffries continues to find a way to help his side, whether it be tactically or personnel-wise. Find an equalizer here at home against Bethlehem, who they very well could be fighting for with a playoff position in about a month's time. Big swing and a miss there from Calvert. Moape trying to get it on his right foot. Here's Ekra. Moape again, skipping away from Real. Moape. Oh, it was a good ball towards the back post. Alex Martinez appreciates the thought and the effort. But it's another goal kick coming up for Jake McGuire as Moape trying to make his presence felt after coming on a few minutes ago.
You can stop by the merchandise tent to guess the goal. If you guess correctly, you could be going home with an autographed Independence
Brendan Burke with
jersey.
3 points tonight can see his side jump up into the playoff picture at 33 points. They would actually leapfrog Indy 11 into 6th place.
It's going to be 32 for 35.
Another substitute getting ready for the Bethlehem Steel. Should be their second of the evening. Mike Jeffries made a double switch only about 3 or 4 minutes ago. Getting word that Aiden Apodaca is getting ready to come on for Farris. Herrera over for Moape. Alex Martinez. Ekra. Sam Vines. First time delivery, hoping for Alex Martinez or Herrera, but only finding Jake McGuire in the end.
You've got Alex Martinez and Herrera in the box. That ball needs to be whipped in hard and low. Anything stood up, keeper coming, McGuire. Bethlehem, 2 centre backs are big. Vine there's just got to pick his head up and see that and try and get, you know, put that ball in hard and low or keep it. It's not going to do the 2 centre forwards any help.
Well, it's a good thought if it's Caleb Calvert and even Lee Jung-soo, who is dealing with an injury, who are both standing at about 6'3", 6'4", but all things that the teenager is going to learn with time.
Sure.
Just 18 years old. As Aiden Apodaca getting set to come on. Apodaca scoring in that 4-1 win against Atlanta United 2. His first goal in a Bethlehem Steel uniform. And this Bethlehem side has more than 15 goal scorers this season. Nobody has been out and out the guy for Brendan Burke's side. Scoring by committee. And Farris in his 6th appearance tonight with the Bethlehem Steel milking every moment here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. And then it'll be Apodaca, the 21-year-old, or 22-year-old, I should say, from Rancho Cucamonga, California, coming onto the scene here in the 63rd.
And Faris has done well, the young lad. You can see I couldn't get it out, sorry.
Apodaca.
Apodaca, just couldn't get it out there for a second, beg your pardon.
Here's Nanko, Dykstra, another big save. Chris Nanko with virtually his first touch of the night, almost puts it in the back of the net.
Lovely little turn. Got his shot off, made the keeper make his save. You just see, great little turn, holds him off there, just gets it on his left foot, tries to keep it low, and the goalkeeper's done well. He's parried a lot, the goalkeeper, in this game, eh? He's done well, the keeper, you can see him. He's been good from crosses, he's helped the team out.
Well, him and Mike Jeffries go way back to when Mike Jeffries was assistant at the Chicago Fire. Andrew Dykstra was just starting his career at that moment as Calvert slipped in. Caleb Calvert on the first time, and Jake McGuire making his first real save of the night. But much better movement and just a bit more authoritative from the Charlotte Independents.
A little bit more direct, like you said, little ball down the side, and there you see Calvert comes in, makes a great run and takes a shot first time.
Calvert, between injuries and suspensions, has really been hindered from getting into a groove this season. Good step from Bilal Duckett. Charlotte, after some fresh legs coming on, looking more and more confident. Johnson. Moape gets it back for Johnson. And there's going to be a foul called on the near side. Matt Real with a late challenge. Brown asking for a yellow card. Matt Real claiming that it wasn't as menacing as it looked, but I mean, Hodzic disagreeing, and mustard for Matt Real here in the 65th.
Yellow card issued against Bethlehem in the 65th minute on number 32, Matthew Real. Yellow card, Bethlehem, 65th minute, number 32, Real.
A chance from the set piece for the Jacks. Joel Johnson.
Looking to land this just in that penalty spot. Just a nice ball over the top.
Johnson, not a bad idea. Knocked away by McGuire. Kevon George, Trinidad and Tobago native, keeping it in play. Alex Martinez just scoots around Chris Nanko. Johnson again. Chambers up for the header. Seems to be one single Vuvuzela here at the Sportsplex at Matthews.
That's a great observation. And one guy from the sound of the microphone there.
It was a far cry from hearing 15 to 20,000 at this World Cup in South Africa as Apodaca's on his way. It looks like it's going to be an offsides call.
Does well there, Apodaca, just getting in behind, tries to get his body in the way.
There's a look at the Jacks militia.
And it is one. Good for him.
Gotta have some serious lung capacity to get going on that thing for the entire 90 minutes.
I think from the sounds of it, it's the end of the night.
Here's Chris Nanko.
Yeah, there's one there, man.
Stood up by Javon Watson. Still looking for that spark from Mike Jeffries' side as Alex Martinez was taken down. He's claiming that advantage should have been played. Charlotte just going to put it down and keep going.
And this time of the game's where it's interesting for me, Tyler, because Bethlehem Steel's made some changes and they lose a little bit of rhythm. And this is a group that, like we spoke about at the beginning of the game, where they're all rotating players in and they all come in, they do a fantastic job, but maybe you lose that bit of connectivity, and where you've got Charlotte Independents now who are pretty stuck in this in their squad and their movement and who comes in and who comes out, and maybe think in this latter part of the game there's an opportunity that they could take advantage of. But you know, and this is where it must be frustrating for me for the coach, Mike Jeffries, because he can see it, but just that inconsistency where he knows that these are parts of the game. If you're a manager, you're gonna strategize on that and say, well, you know, maybe there's a time in the game where we feel like we can get a better advantage. But if you're not firing on all cylinders, it must be, you know, frustrating for him.
Krasnenko must be frustrating as well. All that pace, all that quickness. Trying to get it forward for Bizo. Good sliding challenge from Sam Vines.
Been very impressed, very, very impressed. I know he spoke about his crossing and decisions, which he's going to get as he experiences and get better and better. But his 1v1 defending, his distribution, his ability to get up and down the line from a young outside back, I think is very, very good. He's got a great, you know, he's got a real great future ahead of him if he carries on developing.
Real trying to take on Joel Johnson 1v1. Two of the best left backs, or outside backs, I should say. One a left back, one a right back in the USL's Eastern Conference going at it.
It's a good ball from Chambers, and Real comes into him there, and his touch just pops it up in the air, I think. Give Johnson his opportunity. It's a great, like you said, a great battle they've had all game.
That certainly should be a foul on Johnson. He gives a look of frustration to the referee, but the ref puts his palms up and say, what do you want me to do? Give me no choice. And Santimore on top of the free kick now. Sort of a makeshift corner for Bethlehem, as we're knocking on the door of the 69th minute.
Just see that area along the 6-yard box. Such a dangerous area from these positions, you know. Some teams drop a defender in. You try and keep that space for your goalkeeper to come and get.
Moar teasing ball in. Dykstra got a fist to it, and it'll come out the other way as Brandon Aubrey went barreling in to Charlotte's keeper.
He does well there, goalkeeper, because as he goes in, you can see the replay here is a great ball in, and it goes in knowing he's going to get hit, but he does his job.
More than 20 minutes remaining in this one, plus stoppage time. James Chambers' goal, which seems like ages ago, back in the 7th minute, standing as the game winner. And what will help Bethlehem jump into the playoff scene and then some, into the number 6 spot on 33 points over Indy 11. Sam Vines finding Martinez. Now it's Ekra. Moape. Back for Joel Johnson. Scuffed in the middle. Really dangerous from Aubrey, and Alex Martinez was waiting on the doorstep.
See it, Johnson gets a little look up, whips it into that near post, and as you mentioned, just misses that, but great composure on the first touch.
Vines. Alex Martinez back for Vines. That's a great recovery from Olivier Bizo.
Great combination. They got a real good understanding down that Martinez. He comes inside and it just opens up that whole channel for Vine to get down, and he does it very, very well. Great tackle at the end of it.
Sixth corner of the night for the Charlotte Independents. Jorge Herrera standing on top of it. Johnson almost gave it away. Santimora with the pressure. Alex Martinez loses Nanko and wins the free kick. Herrera. Calvert. McGuire hangs on to it.
What an opportunity there from Calvert. You can just see he's just trying to head it back across goal. Just doesn't quite get enough, almost gets caught in two minds. I don't think he expects it. Just drops that little bit, and he has a thought there. I can go for goal, or trying to lift it back over back post. He's trying to do everything right, just doesn't execute it.
Jake McGuire hasn't had to make too many saves tonight, but the few that he has made, he's been able to keep the clean sheet thus far for Bethlehem. Nanko can't quite control it. Duckett gives it away, and it looks like he's done his hamstring. Here's Bizo. Back for Nanko. And he absolutely skies it into the next county. But Bilal Duckett is seriously injured. And that's the last substitute you want to have to make if you're Mike Jeffries, is a defensive one.
And you don't want your goalkeeper playing it out quick if your centre-back's going down with a hamstring, which has just happened. He seems okay there.
Still a little bit ginger. Notre Dame product. Bizo towards the end line. Watson gets a touch to it. Back for Bizo. Olivier Bizo trying to get around. Just muscles Vines off the ball. Bizo still with it. There it is. It's Holness. The Bethlehem Steel double their lead late in this one here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. Pure creation from Olivier Bizo. And it's 2-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, Bizo, look, he slows it, puts his foot on it here, and he just draws in Vines, and Vines, he gets his body in Vines, and then just gets out-muscled by Bizo, and he pulls it back. It's a great finish there by Holness. Wonderful finish. You see him celebrating. Vines so disappointed in himself. He had him for a split second. Bizo just used his strength.
Second goal in as many games for Omar Holness. He's got 2 caps with the Jamaican national team. And scoring the second goal here. And a massive one for Bethlehem.
Goal. The 76th minute was scored by number 36, Omar Holness.
You know, it was interesting when we spoke to Mike Jeffries in the week, and he said about, we asked him about what he felt the inconsistency was, and he said that a little bit of everything, you know, the injuries we can't talk about, key moments, people switching off, or decisions from young players sometimes, and that's a prime one there from Vines, who's done everything right, and he just gets out-muscled and pulled back, and he 2-0 down.
The scary part about Olivier Bizo is that he's not much older than Sam Vines. He's only 20 years old, and Vines is only 18.
It's crazy.
Herrera off the corner. Calvert trying to take it on the first time. It's Alex Martinez. His shot blocked in front by Skundrich. And James Chambers sends it away, hoping Apodaca will be able to run onto it. And it'll be Amon Zayed to be the third and final substitution for Mike Jeffries. He'll replace Jan Ekra.
This is where I think Herrera might drop a little bit more into that hole. Maybe they'll play Zayed up top. Put 2 strikers up there. Calvert, try and get a goal quick.
Javon Watson taken down by Apodaca.
Balance, balance! Yes. Get connected.
Real just gets rid of it.
You know, this is an opportunity where, if you're bringing 2 forwards on, which it looks like Zayed's gone up top, the build-up play, but now, for me, if you've got 15 minutes to go, you want to be serving balls in the box. Maybe a little bit quicker from different angles.
Herrera. And you can just see the look of frustration from Alex Martinez. Just nobody seems to be on the same page.
You can see him talking, yeah, exactly that. complete lack of communication up top, and you know, maybe just to simplify things, when you bring on Zayed, you've got 2 centre forwards, maybe the game plan changes, right, let's get wide, cross it in the box. And then at least you know it's going to be coming in, and you can counter, you can get on the runs, you can make runs off it.
Apodaca finding Nanko out wide for Santimoar. Could be a third here for Bethlehem. Santimoar lays it off. Apodaca. And good defending from Javon Watson. Not out of the woods yet. Vines does well. Bizo again, who has the assist on the Holness goal just a few moments ago. Bizo, he's going to let it fly, and it fizzes over the bar. And the Bethlehem Steel flexing their muscles here in North Carolina. And it's going to be another youngster, Brendan Aronson, who's coming off of Team of the Week honors in week 20 in the USL.
Bethlehem substitution in 17th minute.
Had the 4th and final goal against Atlanta United 2, and he's going to come on.
Entering the game is number 63, Brendan Aronson.
And he'll replace Omar Holness, who has certainly done his part tonight. Holness with the 2nd goal for Bethlehem.
Talking about energy coming on the field for this last 12 minutes.
Exiting the game is number 36, Omar Holness.
Nanko keeps it in play, but drops it right off for Alex Martinez. Moape, still time for Charlotte. Step from Santimoar. Sam, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, it just seems to be a bit pedestrian. There seems to be no sense of urgency from Charlotte right now.
Yeah, you know, I just think that exactly that. You've got your players, you bring on Zayed up top, and you know, you got to. If I'm playing on that, I know he wants service in the box. He's going to come and attack it. So if I'm an outside back, I'm going to get to positions just to deliver balls in the box. Anything that drops, then our midfield can get behind it, and we can cause problems.
Bizo, one too many touches. Bilal Duckett. Now Moape, plenty of time and space. Gets it out wide for Alex Martinez. Numbers in the box for Charlotte. Martinez towards the byline and straight into the hands of Maguire.
It's tough, you know, Martinez, he's done the right thing. He's gone in the box because he knows he can't be tackled once he gets into the box, but then that ball is a different decision. Then it's got to be a little chip back post. He's just had to drive it. The goalkeeper's going to be on his near post and take that.
Oh, man.
It looks like Charlotte have moved into a 4-3-3 of sorts with Martinez, Calvert, and Zayed.
Refocus, it's over.
Just look at it. You just see, like you said, you summed up perfect, Tyler, in the fact that they're a little bit pedestrian. You know, you can see the ball's playing on the other side of the field. Heads are down. You can just tell from some body language at the minute that they need a spark.
Duckett. Big ball on for Joel Johnson. It's not a bad one. Keeps it in play. Gets it across. Like Jeffrey said, this has been a strange season for the Independents. They've had a lot of injuries, and he said they've had a number of times where even the day of the game, they've had a starting 11 in mind. They virtually submitted it, and then due to injury or some other situation, they end up going with a different starting 11 and a different player in that position. And I pose the question to you, would that really throw you off and jar you that much if you had an idea of who you were going to be starting with and playing next to, and it got changed at the last moment? Did that throw off your mentality at all?
I think it doesn't throw off your mentality, but it can affect your game plan, because you're building up in the week, you're working on relationships throughout the week, you know, ideas of how you could be successful in areas with certain key players, and then you go to kickoff, and the key player that you've built your game plan or your wide area, all of a sudden maybe he's not on the field. So then it does change it. Someone else still comes into that position, but I think that's what they've been suffering, you know, when we spoke to him in the week about. It's just these sudden changes have sort of just thrown them off. It's so hard, and to answer your question, yeah, it can affect it. As much as you're professionals and you're there day in, day out, those relationships are key.
Well, the most recent episode of that sort of last-minute changes involved Sam Vines tweaking his hamstring during the warm-ups. That was coming off of his appearance with the Colorado Rapids as Santi Moar with some good foot skills. And then it was also Jan Ekru who had a last-minute family emergency. Everything turned out to be okay, but these are the little things that Mike Jeffries have had to deal with over the course of the season. He's been doing this for a long, long time, folks, and he said he's never experienced anything close to this, just in terms of the bizarre nature of how they've had to deal with so many different injuries and so many different last-minute adjustments. And again, he's the last coach to make an excuse as Kavan George goes down, but it has certainly taken a toll, and this is a far cry from what we saw with the Charlotte Independents a year ago, where they were vying for a #1 seed. Their end to 2017 didn't necessarily allow them to do that, and they ended up falling to the 5 seed and having to travel to the Rochester Rhinos in the opening round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. But this is a side who a lot of people feared in the Eastern Conference, and Bethlehem Steel side fearing nobody at the moment as it gets all the way through for Aronson as his shot blocked by Javon Watson. Aronson looking for his second of the season and second of his professional career. Good challenge from Calvert.
See Calvert, you can see he's made a difference since he's come on. He's physical, he's competitive, he's technical. You just see him going in for, rightly for a 50-50 ball there.
Herrera.
But just piggybacking on what you said there about, Coach Mike Jeffries, I think it's important how he was calm, and he knows where he's at, and he knows what he needs to do, and it's not, they know what's going on, and it's just trying to, and when you're in.
Zayed gets ahead to it, but straight into the hands of McGuire, and that sums up the night of Charlotte.
From experience, when you're in those situations, the only thing you can do is just keep doing it. Keep getting through it, working through it, and working through it. So he's doing everything right. It's just frustrating at the time.
And for the Bethlehem Steel, all systems go at the moment, and there's no better time to hit stride and hit your form than in the middle of August. As that one's given away, Aronson over for Apodaca. Moar wants it. All the way through for Aronson. Santi Moar eludes the second defender. Santi Moar still with it. Still Santi Moar, and finally Javon Watson cleans it up. Chris Nanko was sort of sitting on this near side and was hoping that his teammate was going to slide it over to him.
It's a little bit too much there from the creative player.
And as we near the end of the game, we remind you to never drink and drive and always drink responsibly.
And we'll take a look at the Wells Fargo Western Conference standings, and it's going to be Real Monarchs and Reno to duke it out for 3 points tonight. And a massive Western Conference matchup as Aronson scoots around 2 defenders, still with it. Aronson on frame, and Dykstra hangs on to it with Apodaca looming in the area.
It's a great play there from Aronson, but it's too easy. Goes inside, there's no real pressure on the ball from anyone, from any of the defenders. It's too easy.
Real. Aronson's been electric since coming on. Gets it across all the way towards the back post. Laid off. Apodaca! It's just over the bar.
He'll be disappointed, Apodaca there. Just gets his ball pulled back here, and he just gets his body wrapped around it. Tries to go for a bit of pace rather than maybe a bit of bend, and just puts it on that outside post. He'll be very disappointed there, Apodaca.
Iso already with 1 assist on the night on the Omar Holness goal. In the 74th minute, here's Chambers. Apodaca taken down. Referee not interested by any stretch of the imagination. And Charlotte maybe looking to counter. James Chambers laboring behind Jorge Herrera. The Colombian sprays it out wide for Moape. Mataya Moape on the move.
Wrong decision there. he's got to get that to the byline and stand it up with bodies in the box.
Let's also keep in mind that the Charlotte side doing without one of their more dynamic offensive players in Cordell Cato, who's suffering from injury. That's the Eastern Conference playoffs calling. And it ranks straightly to Brendan Burke's phone.
Yeah, it was me.
Here's Moar, plenty of time and space, looking to go right at Javon Watson. Slides it through, hoping for Apodaca.
He looked for him that time. That's the time not to look for him. That was a product from before. He was trying to give his teammate something back because he knew, but he could have cut inside, and that was his opportunity.
Herrera through for Calvert, and just a bit too much, and back and forth we go.
Copy that.
And as you said, Sam, this was an open game from about 75th, 76th minute on.
Yeah, it's been open for this last 20 minutes, and I think it's a little bit of the Charlotte Independents back forward, dropping a little bit more, and obviously trying to chase the game, sort of putting numbers forward, and Bethlehem Steel have just been very good going forward.
Nanko. Skundrich. Over for Moar. Back for Skundrich. It's scintillating stuff from Bethlehem. They waltz down Broadway, and they're going to waltz to their way to 3 points. Drew Skundrich with the tally. Santi Moar, very unselfish, and it's 3-0 to the visitors.
It's brilliant. Just good build-up play. You can see he draws him in there, and Mohar there does excellent, cuts it back, and Skundrich carries on his run. Lovely little outside, carries on his run. I love that from the midfielder, and then gets his reward. Great side foot, great team goal. You mentioned it just before that. You know, back four Charlotte, they got detached. A little bit slow getting out, and if they're not careful, and even in this next 2-3 minutes, we spoke about this with Bethlehem Steel. Once they score, they can hit 2 or 3 really, really quick. It's the last thing Charlotte Independents need now is to get another goal and 4 or 5 goals.
Bethlehem goal in the 79th minute, excuse me, 89th minute.
Skundrich with his second goal of the season. All 3 players for the Bethlehem Steel scoring their second goal of the season in Chambers, Holness, and now finally Drew Skundrich. As well as 4 minutes of stoppage time here at the Sportsplex at Matthews, and really for Mike Jeffrey's side against Brendan Burke's this season has not gone particularly well. First it was a 4-1 drubbing at Goodman Stadium a little more than a month ago. And now Bethlehem looking at insult to injury. Nanko, look at all the white jerseys moving forward. Now it's Aronson. Aronson still with it. Watson gets a touch, and Dykstra has to clear it away. And we rarely see this from Mike Jeffrey's side, but at the moment, Sam, you hate to say it, but it looks like they've given up.
I totally agree. I totally agree. This is, you know, I've seen a lot of them play. I've seen a lot of their games, and this is the first time I've really seen them. They just don't have the answers. The back four, you know, the 2 centre backs, they're just getting cut open at the minute. They're not organising. That's where you need your captain to step up.
More time and space for Bethlehem to play. You see Brendan Burke just telling Chris Nanko to kill the game off. More excellent skill. He's just toying with the independents now. Moore again. It's a through for Apodaca. Hayden Apodaca. A little bit out of the reach of Brendan Aronson, still with it. Brandenburg's side just oozing with confidence. Johnson, good ball out for Moape. Maybe some pride to salvage here for Charlotte. And it will go the other way. Mwape, Calvert on the first time, and made a mess of it.
Just no communication again. It's been really interesting watching seeing how it developed, you know, and how that goal, and then you could just see almost the belief and the want to go out and try and turn it around, just being sucked out of Charlotte at this last sort of 10 minutes.
Into the final minute of stoppage time here in North Carolina. The Bethlehem Steel have come to the Sportsplex at Matthews. Well, made it a home away from home, scoring an early goal in the form of James Chambers in the 7th minute. And it took them a while to get their second, but better late than never in the form of Omar Holness in the 74th. And then just a few moments ago in the 89th minute, Drew Skundrich finishing off a fabulous move that involved a number of passes, including a nice little give and go, and then another give and another go with Santi Moar. Real scuffs his shot. And that might just do it. Charlotte Independence. Just simply cannot get it done. And the Bethlehem Steel with a 3-0 win in their last 3 games. They have 10 goals for, just 1 against, 9 straight points for Brandenburg's side, and they now leapfrog the Indy 11 into 6th place in the Eastern Conference on a Wednesday night here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. And we'll take a look at the Wells Fargo save of the match, and it comes by none other than Andrew Dykstra on this terrific volley from Santi Moar.
You see Mohar, just as it's see just his composure, he just lets it drop that half a second, and there you see the keeper Dykstra making a great save. Routine save for me, but he's done very well. He's going to be disappointed. He's had 3 goals put past him, but he's made some saves and did well from corner. You know, he's helped his team out. He's going to be disappointed.
Well, he was able to garner save of the game honors, but couldn't quite save Charlotte from their impending defeat against the Bethlehem Steel, as Brandenburg's side just looked to have more pace and more efficiency going in the other direction. Pleasantries exchanged, and we are going to step aside for the last time tonight. After we come back from the break, it'll be post-match highlights and stats and a little bit more. Stay with us, folks.
My card.
Misplace your debit card? Turn it off with your app.
Excuse me, my card,
This one's gotta be yours, right?
Yes.
And turn it on when you find it.
Oh, I don't have my wallet, so.
Perfect. You can send a digital payment.
I don't have one of those payment apps.
Perfect. You have a US-based bank account, right?
I have Wells Fargo.
Perfect. Then you should have Zelle.
Perfect.
Perfect.
The #1 mobile banking app just got better.
Does your coach use Zelle too?
Of course.
Another way we're building better every day.
7-1 are the two scores that the Bethlehem Steel have been able to put together over the Charlotte Independents in the past month and a half or so. It was 4-1 back at Goodman Stadium, and now it's 3-0 here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. 3 goals for Brandenburg's side, a clean sheet, and 3 points to come with it. As Brandenburg having a nice laugh with Jan Ekren. We'll take a look at how it all happened tonight here in North Carolina. And Sam Stockley, from the get-go, it just seemed to be Bethlehem's night.
It was going forward, you know, we spoke about it. Could Charlotte Independents handle the fluidity and the pace and the tempo of Bethlehem Steel? And they couldn't. You could see great little body swerve there, and you could see the captain Chambers, who was excellent and solid all night, get his second goal. Steps in, but opens up here. Great little drop of the shoulder here by Galane, and then Chambers hits his own man, and then the second one he bounces in and over, and that started off the night for them.
That was the 7th minute. Chambers, his second goal of the season. Charlotte would have the majority of the possession, but as we talked about time and time again throughout the match, just wasn't really meaningful possession. This strike from Martinez was a good one, but they just couldn't seem to put anything of menace on frame.
Just no final end ball, was there? No product, but on the other hand, you had Moha, who came into the game in the second half, and it was excellent. He started to really open up on this left-hand side, so clever. Looks for a pass outside of the foot, always looking to draw players in, and he gives that ball off, opens his body up to hit the post. We've seen this again with Chambers. Great save by the goalkeeper, but felt he got lucky with it.
And then this would be the Wells Fargo save of the game from Andrew Dykstra. Santimar just has it sit up. His eyes start to bulge, but Andrew Dykstra making sure that it doesn't find the back of the net. Jorge Herrera off the set piece. And it was a good idea from Caleb Calvert, but we saw a couple of headers from both Calvert and Zayed that just went straight into the hands of the keeper.
Yeah, just a bright idea. He's just trying to lift that back post, and keeper's, you know, easy for him. And here Vine just gets out-muscled. He had a good, good game. Vine gets out-muscled there, and then great pull back, and you see a wonderful finish there. Great finish by Honus. Just excellent. Great composure, keeps his head down, and just buries that into that bottom right-hand corner.
Omar Holness with his second goal of the season, and then Drew Skundrich linking up with Santi Moar. Nice little give and go, and Skundrich with his second goal of the season in the 89th minute.
Exactly that. Great play, but felt that maybe the back four, Charlotte, 2 centre-backs, just found it a little bit difficult in that last couple of minutes and could have put a bit more pressure on it.
And then take a look at the statistics. I mean, if this doesn't say it all, Charlotte with 60% of the possession. They basically have the same exact shot total, but 5 less on target, and they lose 3-0.
Exactly. And that's Bethlehem Steel, I think, in a nutshell. They're very good. They're very good defensively. They'll get their shape. They'll break quick. The head coach down there, Burke, has done brilliant with them. Brandon Burke, the way that he gets them, and they break quick, and they can score goals, and they can score goals all over the field.
Well, it's 3 straight wins for the Bethlehem Steel. For the Charlotte Independents, well, they've gone a while without a win. Winless in their last 4, as we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference standings, brought to you by Wells Fargo. And here is a live look at the Eastern Conference table. Bethlehem Steel leapfrog from that 9th position all the way into 6th. That's a bit of a catch-22, because while on one day you can jump up to that position, the very next day you can end up back below the cutoff line.
I totally agree, but you just sense when you see the head coach walking across the field, he's confident, his team's playing well, the players are playing well, and they look a real threat, Bethlehem Steel. And I think that, their confidence, it's a great time to hit a bit of form, put some daylight between you and that, obviously, 8th place, and carry on trying to get some wins.
Well, the Charlotte Independents, it's not exactly time to hit the panic button just yet, because as you can see, all it is 1 win next weekend against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and they can find themselves back above the cutoff line as well, as it's time for some family here at the Sportsplex at Matthews. While the result may not have gone their way, the ones that they love in the building, and sometimes that's all that counts. And maybe the Charlotte Independents next time around will be able to find the 3 points that they so desperately are searching for. For the Bethlehem Steel, the good times keep rolling. It's 9 straight points for Brandenburg's side, and they currently sit comfortably in 6th place. It was a phenomenal performance from the side out of the Lehigh Valley. They come away with 3 points, 3 goals, and a clean sheet. Our crew is outstanding. My broadcast partner, more of the same from Sam Stockley and Tyler Terrence, saying so long for now. Bethlehem 3, Charlotte 0.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.